Hello everybody, today's video is going to be a little bit different than what you normally see on my channel. I'm going to do two things today. I'm going to give you first a personal update of things that are going on with me in my life and how it is affecting the real estate business. And second, I'm going to give you just a little bit of an education on how life is and business works for your typical average real estate agent, or at least one that is independent and doesn't work for a big company like Redfin. Some of those agents may get put on a salary or even a big real estate team. So my name is Dickenson. The channel is Living in Northern Arizona. Typically every week I post a video about living in the Northern Arizona towns or real estate topics in general. But this is a little bit different because about a week and a half ago I got an update that my mother, who has been ill for a very long time and is the very final stages of dementia, has taken a serious health turn for the worse, and I had to leave my home in Sedona and come to Phoenix, and I will be here until she passes away, which was actually expected to happen a week ago, but she has been hanging in there. So what has happened is I've had to cancel all of my appointments for October, and probably the first week in November I will be back probably around November 15th. So if I have an appointment with you after November 15th, no worries. And if you want to get in touch with me, but it's not critical that you speak to me right away, the best way right now for you to get in touch with me would be to send me an email or possibly phone call, leave a voicemail or a text. I'm not able to pick up the phone right now because every day I've been at the nursing home, kind of sitting at my mother's bedside, thinking any minute she's going to pass. So if the phone rings, I'm certainly not going to pick it up. I hope you would understand that. And every night when I get home, I am looking at my texts and emails and I'm responding, but my response time is way slower than it normally is because, you know, I'm really tired by the end of the day. And again, I'm turning away referrals, I'm turning away business right now. Typically October is my busiest time of year. I have had to cancel all my showings appointments, not responding, so my business will be way down after my escrows close that are open right now. It's likely because I've not been able to take in new clients that I won't get paid until the end of the year. So the reason I wanted to tell you a little bit about this is because a lot of you don't understand how the real estate business works. Most of us agents are self-employed, and that means we don't get sick time, we don't get vacation time, we don't get bereavement time. If we don't work, we don't get paid. And not only that, if we don't work and are not productive, we're not producing, we're not selling, we don't get paid. So in a situation like this, for instance, if I've been working with you for a couple of months, say last month I was on vacation, I still often work on vacation. So while my family was hanging out at the beach, I'm going up to my hotel, I'm taking your phone calls, I'm getting your list of requirements, setting up a drip, calling all of the agents that have properties that you're interested in seeing when you're here, you know, which happen to be now, and asking questions. And then a few days ago when I call and say, I'm so sorry, I have to cancel our showing appointment because of course I am going to choose to be at my mother's bedside as she is dying rather than stay and show you houses. And if I say, I'm sorry, I have to cancel your appointment, can I refer you to another agent? Now, nobody does this to be mean, but what often happens is, or what has happened, is they're like, oh, no thanks, I don't want to bother you, I just called your competitor direct and I'm working with them now. Well, I mean, that's lovely, but realize if you would have allowed me to call my competitor and say, I've been working with this person, my mom's about to die, could you take them as a client and give me a tiny referral fee? I might have gotten a little bit of compensation for the work that I've done with you. Now, again, I'm not here to complain and whine, woe is me, I won't get paid for the rest of the year, because I am in a position that I can take off and not get paid and I'll be okay. Now, 3-4 years ago when stuff like this happened and somebody cut me out of the deal and I didn't get paid, I actually had to borrow money from my disabled child to make my mortgage payment. So What I'm trying to say here in this video is just it's important that you understand that we're self-employed. If somebody offers to refer you, please don't say no. I'm just going to call this other person directly and cut you out, because that can be very damaging to many real estate agents. Like right now I'm okay, and I'm not saying this to whine and complain, because this has happened, but people just don't understand how the business works, and they're not trying to be malicious. But just if this situation happens to you with another agent that you are working for and they offer to refer you, please say yes. Now also, I've turned away referrals. I've had the phone ring while I'm at my mother's bedside thinking, was that her last breath? And I don't pick up. I know I'm very good normally about answering phone calls and emails. Sometimes the texts actually get delayed in the system and don't get delayed. So not always texts going quickly. But, and right now, again, if you are thinking of coming to Arizona, anytime after November 15th, please just go ahead and email you or text me or call me and leave me a message. I can set that up, but I'm just not going to be able to go out with anybody until my mother passes, which actually was supposed to be last Monday, but she is still hanging in there. I think she's waiting for one of my siblings to come home from Europe, and she's hanging on for that. But so I'm going to have to, you know, I went shopping for a dress to bury her in. I have arranged a funeral. I've had to go meet with the funeral home. We're dealing with hospice. We have to get her apartment and assisted living nursing home cleaned out. All this stuff has to happen, and I probably won't be back until November 15th. So I know a lot of people are confused on how real estate agents work, and they're thinking that we're robots and we should respond immediately, but all of us underneath are human beings. Now, I want you to know, again, no loss of business matters to me right now, because I want to be there at my mother's bedside when she passes away. I want to be there for her. So the loss of business, again, is not going to kill me and is low, paling in comparison to what's going on with my mother. But I just do want you to know, because over the years I've had this type of thing happening. Oh, I've been working with you like crazy, and I had to go to Portland with my daughter, and people that I'd actually been showing homes to, and then I had to leave, called listing agent directly and cut me out after I'd spent hours with them, you know, and that was at the point where I needed the money really bad. Right now I can survive. And again, just waiting for my mother. So now that I've ranted about that, and again, I'm not trying to rant, I'm just trying to educate you, just to have some sympathy for the average real estate agent. I am going to give you a little bit of an update on my mother if you're still here at this point and are wanting to know what's going on. My mother has probably had dementia for 10 to 20 years, but we did not realize anything was gravely wrong until about 2019. And about 2020, after me calling mom's doctors and saying something is wrong here, please call her in and look into this, and them ignoring me probably, and then now COVID had hit. Right now doctors aren't responding. Anyhow, by August of 2020, doctors acknowledged something was gravely wrong. They said she couldn't live alone, and we moved her into assisted living and then eventually memory care. And very quickly after that, her memory had declined drastically, unable to do anything really at all, and had constant round-the-clock care. Now, about 3 years ago, she had an incident where she was hospitalized, and they put her in hospital. Actually, it was like New Year's Eve, maybe 2022, going into 2023. And she had a perforated bowel, colon content was leaking into her body cavity, and I'm begging them to do the surgery to repair it, and they refused. They said she wouldn't survive the surgery. And I'm like, well, I would rather she die with you trying than to have her go into sepsis and die a long, painful, horrible death. But they refused. So at that point, we were mentally prepared for her to pass away. But by some miracle, my mom's body healed herself. So shortly after that, they took her off of hospice. But now about 2 years ago, so maybe February 2023, She's doing very poorly. And of course, there's many horrible things that had happened all this time. You know, you showing up, she doesn't know who you are. She's asking for my dad, who's been dead for 21 years. All these horrible things going on. Of course, we still love our mom and realize this is the disease, right? 2023, they put her back on hospice, saying she is about to die of congestive heart failure. And she has been on hospice ever since, but she gets better, she gets worse, she gets better, she gets worse. We're down here, this is it, you know, oh no, it's not it. I go home, but this time, you know, about 8 or 9 days ago, hospice called and said, this is really it. And what's happened is because, and sometimes this happens to older people, their skin gets paper thin. You get a teeny little cut and it will go into an infection. She gets these big, horrible boil-like sores. It's disgusting. It's got to be so painful to feel that. And then they'll pump her up on morphine, antibiotics, and she will heal from the antibiotics. And then we'll go through the cycle again. But this time, about 10 days ago, she stopped responding to the antibiotics. So now the infection is growing, it's festering, and she's gone septic. So again, we're mid-October 2025. About a week ago, hospice was like, come now or you won't ever see your mother conscious again. So I couldn't go that day. I waited the next day, came from Sedona to Phoenix, and she was already in a coma, so I did not get to respond to her. But I am going every day. I'm at her bedside. She's getting worse. She's not responsive. You can't even squeeze her hand and have her grunt. Hospice, you know, washes her up and changes her, and she doesn't move. She doesn't respond. She's got an 80 saturation on the oxygen. I'm actually not sure what that means. As of Monday, hospice was saying she's got maybe 3 or 4 hours to a couple of days left to live, but this is Saturday and she's still here. They're expecting any day she will pass. Now, what's really odd is I thought I wouldn't get emotional at this point because honestly, we have mourned my mother for like the last 5 years. We haven't had my mother, I should say, for 5 years. She's just been mentally kind of like in a daze, not knowing who you are. So, I feel like we lost my mother 5 years ago and that I've mourned her already because really she's been gone for so long. But now that it's all here and I'm experiencing it and I'm seeing her in that horrible, horrible state, it's not like I've already mourned her. It's like, you know, I'm suffering the loss now for the first time, even though we've been dealing with this for 5 years. I feel like I'm going through the emotion right now like I just lost my mother, right? And of course, probably by tomorrow I will have. But I didn't expect this surge of emotion and crying. In fact, I got my eye infected. I don't know if it's from crying or if it's because you're sitting in a memory care facility where germs are everywhere. So, you know, I'm having to go to the doctor and deal with this eye issue. Every time I get a text or a phone call that's not a client, my heart races. I'm thinking it is somebody telling me something bad about my number. So I'm going through, you know, a very difficult emotional time. It's really hard for me to pay attention, focus. I do have an escrow and I'm trying to deal with it. And but I'm surprised that I'm mourning now as if nothing had happened. Because when my father passed 21 years ago, it was like instantaneous. He was young. We didn't even know he had heart disease, and then he's gone. I mean, that hit hard, and you expect that kind of an emotional reaction. And then I thought, you know, now 20-something years later, and mom's been dying for 2 years, I didn't think it would hurt hard, but it has been. It's very difficult emotionally. Again, I appreciate all the love and support that I've had from my viewers and my clients. But that's what's happening. So if you want to get in touch with me, because maybe you're coming out anytime after November 15th, feel free to leave me a voicemail, a text, or an email, but just it will probably be a few days before I can respond. And if you want me to just refer you to a good agent in the area, I would certainly be happy to do that. So That's all for my personal update today. My name's Dawn Dickenson. I love and appreciate all you guys channel living in Northern Arizona. If you have, or if you got anything out of this video, please consider subscribing. Give me a like. Again, I post videos every single week that are about living in Northern Arizona or just real estate in general, but I just was not able to pull it together this week. So I would appreciate it if you subscribe, because next week I will have more content for you, and I hope you would enjoy the videos in the future and come back to see me next week.